We are going to melt down some of these Dollar Tree candles and we're going to make some wax melts. I put these candles in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 to 30 minutes. My oven is kind of old, and so it kind of really depended on where I placed them in the oven for how quickly they melted. Once the wax is melted, I poured it into a heat-safe cup. I then used some tweezers to remove the wick. You can reuse this, but I did not. And then I put in a thermometer to make sure that I was adding the fragrance to this wax at the correct temperature. I added the fragrance oil at about 185 degrees, and then I just mixed it all up with a wooden skewer until it was all mixed together. Once I was done mixing it and it cooled a little bit more, I was able to pour it into my silicone mold for these wax melts. So while the wax is cooling, we can jump in the Cricut design space to prepare all the different vinyl cuts that we need for the rest of the projects that we're going to make in this video. Okay, so we're here in Cricut design space, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top right and I'm going to click new project. So for me it takes a little bit to load, but as you can see we have our blank canvas here, and I'm going to come to the bottom left and click upload, and then I'm going to come to upload image, and then I can do browse. And then I'm going to select my SVG file, and then I can upload this. And then now I can click on that SVG file that I just uploaded and click add to canvas. Okay, as you can see, since I didn't make this a compound path, it is all just kind of grouped into all these craziness. So I am just going to ungroup it. I'm going to right click, hit ungroup, and then we can go from there. So I have this clicked. I'm going to click combine. I'm going to click weld, and then we have our odd lang syne. I'm going to click combine and click weld as well, and then we have our little label down here, and I'm going to click combine weld as well. So now that we have these all welded, before I go further, I am going to make sure that I've switched from Maker to my Cricut Joy, because that's the machine I'm using. Now I can come over here to the right and click make it. And then I am going to use a mat, so we're going to click on a mat. I do have the small mat with me, and then now it's added this here, but I want to move this to the second one just so that there's more space. So I'll click confirm, and there we go. Now the smaller designs are both on the same side, and our bigger design is on by itself. So this vinyl is a little bit thinner. And so for this cut, we are going to click premium vinyl as well, but since this material is a little thinner, I am going to put less pressure. And then we can load in our material. Just like so. And then we'll hit go and cross our fingers that it works out well. All right, so now we can unload this. Doesn't look too bad, also doesn't look amazing. So you can see it is kind of on the smaller side, so there has been some struggles, but I think we can work with it. And I think ultimately it'll be fine. We're just definitely gonna have to do some reverse weighting on this, but that's not the end of the world. I think it's gonna end up hopefully looking pretty cool. So I got these two wax melts from the Christmas Dollar Tree section, and they are just, oops. And they're just some candy molds and some fun little like penguin molds. I was trying to do a red color, but they definitely came out more pink. So I'm just gonna pop these all out. They're not perfect by any means, but you can trim them up if you want to with like an X-Acto knife. And then this one, I was not very careful when I was pouring. And so some of the pink spilled over. So I did melt down the white candles to do this. And then I added in a little bit of the coloring, and I added a sweet vanilla scent. So these smell amazing, and I cannot wait to put them in my wax warmer. But these make like the perfect gift. And honestly, Dollar Tree has these little trays for each season. But if you want to make other ones, or just like, you know, kind of generic shapes, you can get them from like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Pretty much any craft store. So Dollar Tree also sells these really cute kind of mason jars during the Christmas and winter time. And since this video is more about the winter DIYs, I went with the snowflake top. And so we're just gonna put our wax melts in here, and I think this would just be a really cute way to gift them to someone. Get our little penguin in there, get a couple penguins. Oops, that one went upside down. Get some of the white ones in there. I really like these candy ones a lot. The only thing is they're kind of big. I'm not sure how many I'll actually be able to fit in here. And I think that's it. All right, so let's get another piece of transfer tape. This one I am gonna put it on my shirt a couple times just to get rid of some of that super stickiness. Once I removed some of the tackiness from the transfer tape, I did put my vinyl onto it, and then I burnished it down really well. And for this, I am going to do the reverse weeding again, just because these things are so detailed. I'm just pulling this back at an angle, and oh my gosh, that is incredibly hard to see. And so we're just being careful. So I did the less pressure, so I could have maybe tried a different setting, maybe like washi tape or something. Let's see now if we can remove this big excess piece. I have not done reverse weeding a lot, and it kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And I think it's actually working for once. Those real little pieces I might wait to get until they're actually on the jar itself. So I'm being careful to try to not touch the actual back of the vinyl itself, because I don't want to lose any of that stickiness. I think what I'm going to do, since these are harder to get these real small pieces, I am just going to add this to our jar. So this is just to let whoever I give this to know what scent the wax melts are. Now I always start in the middle and then push my way to the side, and then we can just burnish it on the jar. So I know it's kind of hard to tell on here, but so now I can just come in here and take these small pieces off and then not have to worry about anything. Much easier to do it on here. So if you are doing something detailed, you definitely want to give reverse weeding a try. And I honestly wouldn't even try smaller designs like this with any brand except for the StarCraft brand. Just in my opinion, that's where I've had the most success doing smaller detailed designs. So I highly recommend the StarCraft HD for if you do have a detailed project you're working on. And now this one is done. And I honestly love how this kind of sheer silver vinyl just really makes a little, just really dresses it up a little bit. I know it's harder to see on camera, but I will put a picture of it. But super cute, and I like that the snowflake ties in with these snowflakes on the lid. For this DIY, we are going to use one of these black canvases that I found at the Dollar Tree and some gold vinyl. And we're going to make a reverse canvas sign. So for our Auld Lang Syne, we are just going to cut it out of regular vinyl. I know some people do these reverse canvas signs in HGV, but I just have normal vinyl on hand. So that's what we're going to use. I'm just going to use the standard grip mat for this. And then I'm just going to push this down best that I can. So it is cut a little oversized, but that's totally fine. So before I do this cut as well, I'm going to double check there's no debris on my blade. My blade is looking good. And so now in Cricut Design Space, this looks fine. I'm going to move this a little bit away from the edge, and we can click Continue. It's going to connect to the Cricut Joy. And then for my material, I'm just going to click Premium Vinyl and leave it to the default pressure. And then now we can load in our mats. So now it's loading, doing its thing. And so now we can come down here and click Go. So now that it's done, we can click Unload, and then the Cricut Joy will unload the mats. That looks like a really good cut. So I'm just gonna flip this over and I'm gonna pull the mat away from the vinyl just so that I don't ruin the vinyl by accident. And then we can come up in here and trim off our excess vinyl as well. Save it for a future project. Always keep your scraps because you never know when you'll need them. So I've never actually done a reverse canvas sign. This is the first time doing it, so I'm kind of excited. So we just gotta remove the canvas from this frame. So just be careful here, since most likely you are using a knife to do this. You could pry the staples out, but that just takes a long time in my opinion. Alright, here is our frame, and oof, this does not look good. This is a frame that I got from the Dollar Tree, and there are staples and stuff in it. I definitely got to figure out what to do with this frame, because I do not like how that looks. But for now, let's focus on the vinyl. I found this little like weeding thing at the Dollar Tree, so I picked it up. I thought it might be interesting to try out. Okay, so let's get rid of these inner parts first. This is going to be the easiest thing that we weed. Oop. For sure. The other designs for this project, we are definitely going to have to reverse weed. The only thing is you do have to be careful when you're weeding regular vinyl, because you don't want it to stick to the design. It's not like HTV where if it like hits itself, it's okay. All right, and that's our design. So now we can take a piece of transfer tape. I'm just going to cut off a piece here. Then we're just going to make sure it covers the entire design. And then I'm just going to take my squeegee and really burnish it down. I am using StarCraft HD for this, and I'll put this link in the description down below. So when I'm pulling the backer off from the vinyl, I like to pull down and at an angle, just because I think it's easier. As you can see, I had a little bit too much pressure with the G there. But all right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to set this to the side carefully. Then we can bring back our canvas. And I'm just going to really honestly eyeball this to where I think it's going to look pretty decent. I'm not fully pushing it down yet, just so I can kind of adjust it a little bit. But I think right there looks good to me. And so I'm just going to really burnish this down. You can use normal vinyl for these signs. You don't have to use HTV. You just got to really make sure that this thing is like burnish the heck down. Because this material is not super smooth. All right, let's see if that's enough. And again, just pulling away at an angle, so it's not quite enough. So I'm just gonna come in here maybe with my finger too and really push it down. I'm gonna use the hard side of the scraper is what I'm gonna do. This transfer tape is crazy sticky. Let me tell you. It's just going slow and steady. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely press this transfer tape against my shirt or something to kind of get rid of some of that tackiness. All right, and there we go. I'm just gonna gently push this down, and there we go. All right, and that is on there, and I love how that gold is contrasting the black. So I think we might sand the frame down and paint it white, I think. Okay, so the frame of this canvas is super rough, so I'm going to take a medium grit sanding sponge and knock down all the edges and splinters. And then I'm just going to use this gator wipe to clean off any of the sawdust so that we don't get it on the rest of the projects. I love these gator wipes. They make cleaning up anything super simple. Now, the only thing I'm not sure is if I should paint this gold. Well, I think I will paint it gold, actually. I got this really cool silicone mat for Christmas, which will allow me to paint things and not mess up the table or the mat underneath. And it even has a little cubby where you can add some water to put your dirty brushes. So for this frame, I am going to paint it with this antique gold. Shake it up since it is craft paint. We might have to do a couple coats of this because we want to make sure that we get everything covered. Alright, so I'll let that dry and then we can attach it back to the canvas. Okay, I have decided that I hate the gold color, so I'm just going to paint it black. I think the black on black will look really classy. I'm going to actually start by painting the insides first. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I don't mind if a little bit of the gold tone shines through. It's not the end of the world for me. I just need it to not be like super blotchiness. So I just use these cheap makeup sponges to get the job done. So this might need a second coat. But if I do a second coat, it will probably only be on this top part of the frame. Okay, so I'll let this dry and then we can come back to it. Okay, so now all we need to do is attach the frame back to our canvas. This is kind of hard to do, and I've never really done this before. So I want to try and just line it up as best as I can. I'm going to hold this really tight, flip it, and then I'm going to take my nail gun, I'm going to take my staple gun. So I am going to pull the material tight. I'm going to make sure this looks good. And then we can trim off the excess. Let's flip it over and see if it still looks good. That still looks fantastic. And so now we can pull this bottom part. And I'm just keep stretching it. I do want to put like one more on this side. That looks really perfect to me. I really like how that looks. So now we can just trim off this excess fabric. You guys, this looks amazing. I love it. It looks so good. Elsa likes it too. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. And this vinyl is staying on really well. For this DIY project, we are going to use these Dollar Tree little mirrors that I found. They have like a little hook thing here, and you can just hang it. I think it's supposed to probably just be for like a room or bathroom or something, but I got a few of these and I'm going to try and turn them into a snowflake. When I saw this shape, that was the first thing that came to mind, and so I thought this would be a perfect winter project to do. I think all I'm going to do is just put a bead of hot glue here and then just do my best to combine these together. And then I'll just push these together and just hold it while the glue dries. So then I'll just add glue to each one. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually gonna work or not. This is just a crazy idea I had, and I really do hope it's gonna turn out well. This is probably one of the easier DIYs I've ever done though. I don't feel stressed about this or anything. Like, it's going pretty good. I'm feeling pretty happy about it. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but honestly, I do feel pretty good about it. We do know in the past, with my Dollar Tree projects, that's not always the case. I guess if you wanted to, you could do some glass etching on these, or you could even like do a reverse etching with a laser engraver. I am worried it's a little fragile, so I think once I put them all together on the back, I'll probably do some other beads of glue. So just keep adding glue. I'm so dumb, I'm so dumb, I'm so dumb. Why would I do that? Oh, I'm probably the stupidest person on the planet. Oh my gosh, why would I even think to put it down there? I am like, wow. I told you guys, I clearly did jinx myself. I don't even know. That was like, wow. Literally no reason for me to have even wanted to attempt to do that. I don't know, guys. Definitely I'm gonna have to reinforce this joint, I think. That is absolutely for sure. Alright, let's do this last one and see if I can manage to do it without ruining anything. Oh no, this is not going to end well. Oh no! Oh gosh. You guys, this didn't work like I wanted it to. What do I do? Oh, that's a bummer. Well, that's a bummer. That did not work like I wanted it to. What is the solution? Maybe we leave it like that. No, that kind of sucks too. Or do we just leave it as half a snowflake like this? Do we leave it like that? Oh gosh, this is fragile. That might work. Maybe have it just be 2 halves. That could be the solution here. Well, let's reinforce the back while I think about what I want to do. I think what we could do is we could turn it into 2 halves of a mirror, and then when you hang it on the wall, it could be like the 2 different sections. All right, so not the initial plan of making a perfect snowflake mirror, but I think it's gonna end up looking cool, I think. Am I bummed? Yeah, absolutely. Am I surprised? Not really. I feel like my projects never really go perfectly according to plan, that's for sure. But you just gotta adapt. Nothing you can do about it, no point in being sad about things. Okay, I'm gonna have to put beads down this middle part too, I think, which is fine because it's all white. For this DIY, we're gonna get a soup bowl from the Dollar Tree and some silver vinyl, and we're gonna make a custom soup bowl. For this next project, we are gonna be putting some vinyl to this soup bowl. And so to do that, we're gonna clean the surface with isopropyl alcohol, just to get rid of any oils or dirt or dust that's on there. And so we'll do this first, that way it has time to dry as we weed out the vinyl and do all the other stuff necessary. I'm using a squeegee tool to really push down the vinyl to the transfer tape. And then we're just gonna start with this big backer piece and kind of hope for the best. So it's not bad, I just need to get the paper, there we go, off these couple of pieces, which is pretty simple. All right, so now we did that. Let's try and get the big cover off. See how that goes. I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. So let's just put it on here, I think. I think that's gonna be the best bet. No, I stuck it prematurely, oh no. So you definitely don't wanna do that. So again, I'm just gonna push in the middle and then go from one side, pick it up a little bit, and then to the other side. So we can pull our transfer tape off. Also, I really struggle to get things centered. So I'm not sure how centered this is. Okay, let's see now if we can maybe take off this big excess piece a little easier. Still really wants to come up. Slow and steady wins the race. First of all, I can't believe reverse weeding actually works. Let's get these little pieces out of here. So this actually turned out really nice, and I did a pretty decent job of getting it straight. I could have made it a little bit bigger, but I think this is fine. I'm not gonna lie, I love this little spoon that I made.